Ah ben je le... Oui, oui, la même facture. On est quoi là? Tu peux prendre une photo de la cheminée?
Hi everyone. Today I found myself around 2 o'clock in Bromont. An hour's drive east of Montreal there is Mount Bromont. And there are many trails for hiking but also for mountain biking. It's a very famous mount. So today we're gonna discover one hard hiking trail. I didn't sign up for this today, but there wasn't something of intermediate level that could take around 3 to 4 hours, as I felt the need to go for a bit more of a walk. So here I find myself, without noticing, walking on a hard trail that is called Le Coriace. More on this trail later. As for now, just know, from the first kilometer, it's getting steep. Let's walk. As you just saw, it really does start difficult and steep. Very rocky, very uphills, almost like climbing steps. Take a look at that. Now, concerning the conditions, around this area it's been raining for the past 3 days, but I'm lucky enough because the soil is not muddy. It's humid, but it's not really muddy, which is something I wouldn't complain about. I'm literally 600 meters in, my heart rate is at 130, and I think I already climbed something around, according to my watch, there's already a 400 meters ascent. Look at that. So this would be level to horizon. Anyway, past this tree we shall walk. As with each video I make, or vlog I make, I should be more technical, I'm learning to do that. I'm learning on the go from my mistakes and from things I find out later that I forgot to put. So, as always, I'll put useful information and description and links in the description. That's for one thing. Now, around, as the video goes on, expect to see sceneries, panoramas, specific things about the trail itself, but also I will be giving details, technical details about the hike itself, how it felt, and what gear is necessary depending on different levels of fitness. As you can see, I'm out of breath. And usually I will always end up rambling up with some existential thoughts. That's the whole purpose of my vlogs, by the way, is to share with you everything I discover, everything I feel, but also to speak my mind up while sharing my thoughts with you as I reflect while walking in the woods. That's the purpose of these videos, to share the love, share the beauty, and share some thoughts, hoping it might prove helpful to some of you, or many of you. Let's keep climbing. You can see the autumn getting there. We're early September. The forest is not as green and vigorous as it once was. Today's temperature is about 14 degrees Celsius with a gentle breeze, which makes it a very good condition for such a hike. Since it's very steep, not only my heart is pounding, but I'm already sweating a fair amount. I don't think this would be the ideal summit to hike to in high heat. A good thing that I'm carrying around 2 liters of water, so this should be okay. But then later on in that video I'll let you know if it's the adequate amount of water, alongside with many of the hike's technical. Here we're reaching our first beautiful panoramic view. Take a look at that. Can even see the lake there. Useful fact on such a trail, should you come and choose this specific one, hiking boots are necessary, both for the road conditions, but also because of the nature of the terrain itself, to really protect your ankles, because it's not an easy one. Unless you're traveling really light and you're really familiar with the trail, I definitely suggest you go for hiking boots. As for now, as you can see, We're going towards Mount Spruce. So we just made it to Mount Spruce, elevation 480 meters. That's one of the first of the peaks alongside the route I'm taking today. I'm already at kilometer 1.75 out of 13. And this is the other side of the observation point. The path is rocky, but on the mountain flank, look at that. And that wouldn't be such a nice hole to fall into. But kind of loving the discovery of this path, especially that it's a mixed path between mountain biking and hiking trail. It's quite special. It's quite challenging, but so far so good. And after finishing my first peak, now I'm heading to the highest peak, which is Mount Brome or Bromont. I'll get back to you about that later on. Another interesting fact, I'm actually walking on what during winter time becomes ski slopes. So that's the beauty of Mount Bromont. It's a multi-sports destination just an hour away from Montreal. Crossing path with mountain bikers. This is where my path takes a really hard turn. It's getting very rocky, very steep, quite challenging. Somehow I'm loving it. And I'm really grateful that I'm wearing my ankle stabilizing high hiking boots. But as usual, the hike is always worth it. Look at that. Yes, that's happening. Whew. All right, we got that. The thing with steep climbs the secret resides in pacing. Is the most important thing to do. It's very tempting when seeing big rocks or boulders to try to climb them using big steps, but then you'll immediately feel the burn in the muscles. Even if you're capable of walking more briskly or of stepping higher, the key to enduring long trails is to pace both for the sake of your thighs and your glutes. You don't want them burning in a climb, and also for your cardio, because on the spot you don't feel it, but then it catches up with you. Even though I'm pacing, you could feel my breath going a bit heavy. So whenever the trail gets more difficult, slow down, shorten your steps, the length of your steps, and pace yourself. That's another advice. So we made it to the top, to Mont Brome, upon which Bromont is named. So I guess it's time to view the well-deserved, well-earned view. So right now we're at the Belvedere of Mont Brome, which is at 533 meters high. Hold on a second. I always tell you, I love paper maps. So we're at the highest peak of Mount Brome at 553 meters altitude. This is as high as we could get. I'd say we're about we reached the third part of our trail. Still 2/3 to go. But apparently, and according to the staff, the hardest is behind us. So catch you on the way down. The thing I found special about Bromont is that it's a very active mountain. I haven't seen many hikers, but there are a lot of bikers and mountain bikers. Now I must say it's a Sunday, So people are more outgoing, and it's a beautiful weather. But it's the kind of dynamic mountain because most of the trails are hybrid trails. And we're back to the forest after having crossed a couple of open air trails, most of them hybrid between mountain biking and hiking. 2 mounts I'm going for, Mount Horizon and Mount Bernard. I just love those real forest sounds. Remind me of the forest of my childhood. So here I am in this little log rest. I'm halfway across my my trail. There's a bee just sniffing me. Taking a little break. It's 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I should get moving. I still have around 2.5 hours, theoretically. Look at that and enjoy the sound of the forest. Another one done. So far that's been the best stretch, because this is where I encountered the least amount of humans. More on that aspect of Mount Bromont at the end of the video. It's almost 5 p.m. and we're not there yet, but you can feel the smell of the golden hour. Word of advice from your physical therapist. Whenever you're going for an intermediate or a hard trail, prioritize this going up hills for the steepest part. It's always better to climb the hardest part. It's tough on muscles, it's tough on cardio, but it's gentler on joints. And believe me, your muscles, you can rest them. But in case your joints, most probably your knees, start hurting you, there's no resting for that. So always prioritize climbing the hardest part and choosing the smoother downhill for your way back, for your return. When your muscles are tired, when your joints already were put to test, that's how I always like to plan the direction of my hike, especially if it's in a loop. So remember, steepest, climb, smoothest, downhill. Remember that next time you go for a hike. Now that's a downhill. That's a hell of a downhill. Whew. That was a hard chunk. So, we're here. Going back all the way down to P7 here. And just like it says, La Coriace is that way. For the thousandth time, I really love bridges. Now, moving this way, we're gonna check for Mount Bernard and then continue the loop and finish off our trail. And my ankle has started acting out. If you watched a previous video of mine, I mentioned that every once in a while my ankle tends to give me a hard time. I have a problem in my ankle. And this is why every time I decide to go for a hard challenge, I think twice before, and that's why every time it feels like I'm challenging myself while keeping some form of temperance. Anyway, let's go to Mount Bernard. While on my way to Mount Bernard, now that's a hell of a steep climb. A hell of a steep climb. So this is what I see when it's leveled. That's the actual angle. That's a tough one. See you at the summit. Finally made it to Mount Bernard. Airplane at sunset hour.
Franchement, rater ça, c'est un peu comme rater une étape de sa vie. Et je peux t'assurer que elle a rattrapé pas mal d'étapes de sa vie.
Hey, arrête, on l'a bouffé à 2, ok? On a mangé hier, aujourd'hui, on a mangé demain.
So we're here, and past videos were this direction. 2.5 more hours. We're here on Mount Saint-Joie, on Bernard, and moments ago we were on Horizon. As for now, we shall continue the descent and continue the loop. Catch you on the trail. And that would be a chipmunk. Yes, you saw right. It's getting tough on my knee and on my ankle, and each on different leg. Strongly suggest on such a trail to have walking sticks. It's literally saving my... It's been painful for the past 40 minutes. But I don't think I'm far away from reaching my destination. Man, we made it. Made it back to departure point. Filming actually started there. That was a tough one. So let's wrap it up. For a difficult trail, it is a difficult trail. As stated, it's a total of around 13 kilometers. You do have beautiful vantage points, you do have beautiful observation points. It's very rocky, it's very steep, both on the uphills and the downhill. Depending on the direction of the loop you take, there's a part that's steeper. My gear recommendation for that one, definitely high boots. You need to stabilize and protect your ankles. Definitely a hat and a bug repellent, especially in this time of the year. Definitely walking sticks, especially if you might have joint problems like mine that decided to flare up about for the last 45 minutes chunk. But it's fair enough for a 3 hours and 45 minutes now. I got lost 3 times, so I'd say I would have been able to make the trail in a fair 3 hours. One thing I must note about Bromont is the signaling is not optimal. I wasn't the only one to get lost, especially on my first time here. I met with lots of people who lost their track. It wasn't clear. You reach many places where you suddenly find yourself that you're off track. So that's not a nice thing. But I mean, it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just one mount. There's just enough you can get lost around. But it's not comfortable to get lost. Again, I met more than 4 or 5 groups of people who were lost, and we had to open our maps and we had to check and give it a guess. Anyway, that was a good physical challenge. Although I wasn't prepared for it, it felt good, it felt nice. I'm always afraid that my knee or my ankle will act up, and they did today, and I guess it's because with this year's season hikes, I'm not yet up to the level, but the good point is I had my walking sticks. They literally saved my ass, which is good. So I was able to manage myself. Now, if you're not prone to problems, nothing else to add than the fact that it's a hard one. Very good for a physical challenge. I loved it. It took my mind off of my daily thoughts, because you really have to be careful about the path you're following and what's around you. The best wildlife I encountered was a lot of chipmunks. They're so hard to film, yet I was able to get a couple of seconds, as you saw in the video. But they're beautiful to watch. They're cute, they're small, they're very brisk and fast. So, Bromont, would I do it again? Maybe. And if I decide to go for the hardest trail, which is the 13 kilometers difficult, maybe I will come better prepared. Maybe earlier in the day also. But definitely for easier trails. There are many trails you could choose from easy to intermediate, that are about an hour or 2 hours hike. So it is a good thing. One more thing I will add about Bromont is it's a very active mountain. It's not that kind of mountain that you go to disconnect from civilization. The trails intersect with a lot of man-made structures, winter ski slopes, the télésiège, I forgot the name in English, lots of man-made structures for biking, and for a Sunday and at this time of the year, I crossed paths with a lot of bikers. So if you feel like being active, yes, definitely come here. And if not, if you want to disconnect and feel more deeper in nature, definitely check the other trails I already filmed on my channel. As for now, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and if you have questions, ask it in the description below. I hope I'm able to share with you everything I'm feeling. I hope I'm able to share with you the beautiful scenic trails, panoramas, and the challenges I'm living. Thank you, and see you in the next video.